So in today's video, I'll be talking about my experience with my first Shopify store. Hopefully you guys are able to learn something from it. I was able to generate about $4,000 profit a month from this store, and it all started back in late 2014. I remember I was watching a lot of Alex Becker videos at that time. This was back when he was into SEO marketing or just SEO in general, trying to rank pages on the top of Google and whatnot. He had this one webinar about e-commerce. It was this couple that was trying to sell this course, and I didn't buy their course. I just kind of didn't like the way they were teaching. So I went on YouTube, I looked for more courses, or I looked for more information. I found some, and I just started basically learning from it and really understanding how it was. I bought 3 to be exact, and I would just kept researching and watching all these videos and rewatching them, trying to learn as much as I can because I really wanted to succeed in it. I really wanted to go out there and have a successful Shopify dropshipping business. So after about 2 weeks of actually just studying and rewatching videos, I actually felt like I was at a place where I could just launch my product. So I started doing product research, which took me about 2 days. And like most of you, I started off doing those same basic products that a lot of people do. That's what I was trying to go for actually. Thankfully, I didn't go for those products. I was actually thinking of going that route and selling pet supplies or selling stuff that just you see everywhere, basically. And the reason I came to that realization that it wasn't going to work out if I sold those products was because I joined some mastermind groups. And the thing that I've noticed is that everybody was selling the same thing, and they had no success, or they had very little success. They were probably selling like 3 units or 2 units every other day or every so often. And I started thinking to myself, okay, if these people are struggling selling these items, what's gonna make me different? What's gonna, why am I gonna be successful if they're not? And if they're putting in a lot of work and everybody's trying to do this and they're all getting a little bit of sales here and there. So what I decided to rethink my strategy, what I was gonna go for. Then I started to think about, okay, what else would be good? What's another good thing? What's still hot, but it's not overly saturated? So then it just got this idea of selling men's jewelry. So I started researching, see what would sell or what not, and I found these men's bracelets. There were some bracelets that had some skull design in the front, and I ran with it. I got that idea, and I was okay, let me create a store around men's bracelets. I was looking at other men's bracelets websites. I started just drawing ideas and putting the website together, as well as designing the logo and whatnot. So it was 2 days before New Year's, and this is when I started working on my ads. I designed everything. I was doing my product, well, not my product research, but my targeting research. I just sat down all day from the morning all the way till night, trying to find the right audience to sell to. After I had everything, I decided not to launch the ad that day. I decided to wait till New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve came. I ran the ad, or I launched the ad at around 8 p.m. New Year's Eve. Then I waited about an hour, nothing happened. I was not getting any sales. My ads weren't moving, so I was kind of bummed out. Then I waited another hour and I was like, okay, what the hell's happening? But since I was brand new to the space, I had no idea what was going on. So what ends up happening is that Facebook takes a little while to actually start running that ad. It's not instantaneously. So for those of you who have that experience, just wait a little bit longer. It generally takes about 2 to 3 hours, especially if you're brand new to advertising on Facebook. But at that time, I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. So I started kind of just feeling kind of iffy about it. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to let it run. If I don't get anything tomorrow, if it doesn't sell tomorrow, or nothing happens tomorrow, then I'm just going to contact customer support and see what they could do to help. So I went to sleep. And then in the morning, I woke up. This was New Year's. This was January 1st, 2015. I woke up to 2 sales. It was the best feeling I've ever felt. I was like, okay, whoa, I just made 2 sales sleeping. I didn't have to do anything, didn't have to touch anything. It was just amazing. Like, I mean, who else does that? Especially for me, that I didn't have to really put any work when I got those sales. Well, obviously I put in the work beforehand, but getting those sales, I didn't have to be there. I didn't have to do anything. So after that, I was like, okay, maybe this was just 2 sales that were just random. Maybe I'm not going to get any sales that day. And I ended up closing the day getting about 9 sales. I would have gone 10, but that last sale was kind of weird because I forgot to put the price on the last item, and somebody purchased this item that was $0. So I really didn't count that as a sale because I didn't ship the product. I didn't even bother with anything because that was my fault. I didn't add the price to that product. And then the following day, I started generating a couple more sales and a couple more sales. I was always generating about 7 to like 10 sales per day. Then what I decided to do is, okay, let me duplicate my ads. So hopefully that duplicates my results, but it didn't exactly double everything. It got close to it, but not quite doubling, which was still pretty good. I mean, I was still getting a lot of sales. I was getting close to 15 or not 15, I was getting close to 20 sales per day. And then I made another duplicate of an ad. So I was running 3 different ads. They were both running at, or all 3 of them were running at $10 each. So I was spending $30 in ads. At that point, I was bringing in about 25 orders a day. Now it was really cool that I was bringing in that many orders, but with that comes a lot of work because I had to fulfill the orders. I had to purchase the products and go ship them out to the customers. Well, not me specifically, but I had to put the orders up in AliExpress, and it took some time. It was pretty time consuming, and I didn't want to sit there and wait for an order to come through and then place it as soon as it came through. So what I did was just wait till the nighttime. I accumulated a bunch of orders, then just put them all out within like 2 to 3 hours. And fulfilling the orders was actually taking a lot of time, and I want to focus on other aspects of that business, which I couldn't because, again, I was fulfilling orders for a couple hours every day. So what I did was I got my girlfriend, she started fulfilling the orders, I focused on business, but then she became pretty occupied, or she was just busy, so I had to find another way to get those orders fulfilled. So what I did was I went to Upwork. It's this site where you're able to hire people from all over the world to just work on certain things or work on whatever it is that you need help on, and you do pay them hourly, but you're able to pay them a lot less than in, let's just say that you were to hire somebody here in the US. So what I did was I hired 2 people and they started working for me. I was teaching them how to fulfill the orders. So I had one person do that, and then I was teaching the other person to handle customer support. So they were the ones answering any questions that any customer had, because I was doing all that by myself at first, like the first 2 weeks, and it was getting really annoying of just having to do that and not having time to focus on ads or focus on other aspects of that business. And everything was running pretty smooth for about a little bit over a month. And then I started running into some issues with PayPal. Now this issue, you guys probably heard me talk about it before, but I got my PayPal limited basically. And what that means is that you can no longer use PayPal or any of its services because you've been limited, or in other words, you've been banned from using PayPal. And for those of you who've not watched my previous videos on getting banned from PayPal, what happened was that a lot of people were complaining that they didn't receive the products, and they didn't receive the products because they wanted it within like 2 or 3 days. I was making sure to let them know that it was going to take about 2 weeks for them to receive the product, and they were just getting impatient, so they kept claiming that they didn't receive anything. Obviously I was sending the products, they were just not patient enough. So I provided PayPal with tracking information, so PayPal gave me a pass that time. Then another week passes by, and then more people start complaining. So I ran into this issue with PayPal because they were like, okay, we have to actually manually review your site and see what's going on, what are you selling? And I messed up by actually going on and telling them that I was dropshipping, because I guess they don't agree with that, they don't like that business model. So they went on and banned me from PayPal. And I was actually pretty bummed out at the fact that they were basically holding $6,000 from me, and I had to wait a half a year to get that money, but I still had a business to run, I still had things to do. So, you know, I let that aside. It bothered me for a bit, but I started focusing back in my business, and I was just relying on Stripe at that time, which thankfully worked out fine, everything was cool. And what I started doing was just tweaking the ads, duplicating them, tweaking them again, duplicating them, targeting market influencers or targeting Instagram influencers to do some shout outs. What I was doing was trying to reach out to men's fashion pages, and they were just charging me about $20, $50, $75 for a post that was generating me hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which was pretty cool because those posts were actually instant. I saw the results right away. I didn't have to wait 2-3 hours for the ad to kick in or for the ad to run its course. It was just as soon as the post went up, within a few minutes, I started generating a lot of sales. And I kept doing the same thing for about 5 to 6 months. Then it just kind of started dying down. So I had to close down that shop or that website because it was coming to a point where it was really not worth my time to invest that much time and effort to something that was just barely getting by. So I decided to close it down and move on to a next store. And I actually forgot, just mentioned a little bit earlier, but I was getting the bracelets for about $2 or $3, and I was selling them for like 22 or like 19 depending on the material from it. And that just goes to show that you don't have to put the products super cheap just because you get them for $2.99. You don't have to go on and sell them for $5 because you guys are probably thinking, okay, if it's cheaper, then it's gonna sell faster. And that's not always the case. It's just marketing. It's just the way that you market yourself. So I had a pretty big markup, but it worked out in my favor because people were buying it, and the way I was presenting them made it seem like legit, like an actual legitimate business. I'm not saying that dropshipping isn't a legitimate business. What I'm trying to say is that it made it seem like we were actually manufacturing those bracelets in-house instead of dropshipping them. And it's all in presentation, because I just feel like you could tell when a website looks like a dropshipping site by the way you present yourself or the way it presents itself. So that was pretty much the story on what happened and how I went about creating my first store. I did have some ups and downs, obviously. And for those of you who feel kind of discouraged, being like, okay, you know, I'm in my third store and nothing has clicked. That was your first store and everything worked right away. It's not always the case that you get things to work at the first try. And keep in mind that if you guys put in a lot of work, your store is going to succeed. But you have to put in a lot of work. And don't just kind of just half-ass things and only work for like an hour and be like, oh, you know what? This isn't working out for me because I work 1 hour a day on the store. Don't half-ass it. Really put your heart into it, and you're going to start seeing results. So don't give up if you guys don't see any results in your first store. You know, it might even take you 3 or 4 stores to actually get things right. So keep on trying, try different products, try different advertising methods. Whatever you do, just keep pushing. Don't give up and don't half-ass things, because you guys are going to pay if you half-ass things, because you're going to feel like you're working but nothing's happening. And the thing is because you're not putting all your effort into it. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something from it. If you guys want to hear more stories about all of my stores, because I did come up with probably like 7 or 8 different stores. So if you guys want to hear every story behind all my stores, make sure to comment, although I highly doubt anybody's going to do that since these videos don't get a lot of views. But if you guys do, I'll come revisit the video and I'll just go from there and I'll make new videos on some of my stores. So make sure to follow me on Instagram at mr.ecom. You can also follow me on Snapchat, Mr. Ecom. And I'll leave the link to all that stuff in the description. My Snapchat code's gonna be right here. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.